One of the most significant events in the 1994 Military Sports World Championships was the triathlon. The second time the triathlon has been organised by CISM, which is the International Military Sports Council. The previous triathlon was in 1992, took place in Germany. And interestingly enough, this isn't a closed military event, only open to military personnel. It is in fact open to civilian athletes as well. So this second triathlon, which is set in Kapelle op den Bos in Belgium, is really going to attract a strong field. The preparations, therefore, are very special indeed. We are going to meet two of the favourites, and the bell rings early in the morning for one Ralf Eggert. Ralf comes from Germany and was second in the first triathlon. On the other side of the fence, we have the ladies, and the champion in the 1992 event was the French girl, Lydie Reuset. Eggert, 23 years of age, came 7th in the civilian world championship, so I said we had a strong field, and he just proves that that is so. And those world championships took place in Manchester in 1993, and he's the vice champion. Reuset, she's the defending military world champion, very experienced, 13 victories in 93, and also boasts a bronze European Championship medal, which she keeps proudly on her trophy shelf. And that was at the Olympic distance, which is in fact the same distance as this triathlon is going to be run over. Just to remind you of that, it's a 1.5 kilometre swim, a 40 kilometre cycle ride, and a 10 kilometre run. Well, here we see the French girls out training and checking out the course, and we get a chance to find out from Reuset what the course is exactly like. And she's saying it's a little bit windy out there, and there are a few holes in the course as well. And it changes the wind, of course, as you're going around the various turns and corners. It comes at you from different directions, but it's okay, she says. For Eggert, he's got a lot of memories, but one of his best in his World Championship trail was beating the American Marc Alain earlier in the season. And that takes a special sort of triathlete. What is it, we ask him, that makes a good triathlete? Well, you've got to be able to do everything a little bit, says Eggert. You've got to be able to swim a bit and ride a bike pretty well and be able to run well too. A triathlete really is an all-rounder. And maybe, although he's good at all three disciplines, he might not ever reach the top at any one discipline. Well, I joined the Army about 3 years ago, and they've been a fantastic sponsor for me. They've given me plenty of time for training, and they've always been very supportive. And obviously, I love to compete in these military events. Well, the course is tough. It's flat and fast, but the road surfaces are tough, and that makes it pretty hard. It's very different to the courses that we run in Germany, which are mountainous, and with the forest, it's difficult to get away from them. One man he's going to have to get away from is Hellriegel, who we see him with here. He's his teammate. He's a very, very fast runner. Well, he said, really, if I'm going to beat him, I'm going to have to swim a bit faster, ride a bit faster, and run a bit faster. But Hellriegel actually is an excellent runner, a very fast runner, so if I can do well on the bike, I'll get ahead of him. Well, the women really in this event are going to be battling for second place, because Reuset has pretty much got it sewn up. She's going to be keeping an eye on the German girl, Brigitte Scheithauer, but she says, I've been training with her in France, and even if I'm a little bit tired, she says, I still think I can beat her. 250 competitors, fantastic weather, temperatures running between 25 and 27 degrees centigrade. It's June, the wind is enough to keep them cool. But they're going to be cool when they get in the water here, because that temperature doesn't really seem to have changed. The coloured helmets, well, they mean something for you. The white helmets are the male military competitors. The yellow helmets are the female military competitors. And the pink helmets, or I should say caps really, swimming caps, are for the civilians as they kick off now for 1.5 kilometres in the canal. And it's quite a sight, the start of a triathlon. They have to work their way down the course and then round a special judge's boat and back again. It's astounding, really, that in the sport of triathlon, every little inch of muscle anywhere in the body is used one way or another. And what a demanding way to start a sport like this. You really do have to pace yourself from the start of the event right the way through to the finish. And although some of the competitors have got advantages in certain disciplines, the overall feel when you get off the bike and start running, you'll know whether you've done too much for your own personal stamina in the early stages. Out in front, as you can see from the cap, we've got two white caps and a pink cap, and that means the military are in command of things at the moment, as you would anticipate. A good idea of theirs to open this up to the civilians as well, because it really does hot up the competition. And the spectators love to see some of the triathlon stars as well, of course. Plenty of spectators turning out for this one. So out in the lead we have a military gentleman, courtesy of his white helmet, Karsten Wember. And in second place, Belgian triathlete Hunchas. And then in third place we have Frenchman Poula, who is a military competitor as well. Our results that we're going to be giving you will show and differentiate between military and civil. Right, up they go. On the left we have Karsten Wember first. Not far behind is Hunchas, and you can see the sort of lead that they've built up as the fourth place man is just getting onto the stairs now. Poula making his way up. Bit cruel having to swim 1.5 kilometres and then climb up those steps. Then we have the Czech, and then Ralf Eggert finishes his swim in 5th position. So well rehearsed in getting off the wetsuit and getting on the crash hat. And they pick up their bikes and head off for 2 laps of the 20-kilometre bike circuit. 4 military competitors in the top 5. And you can see they're split up by Hunches in second place, the Czechoslovak 4th, Eggert 5th. Stadler is 18th, we're going to keep an eye on him. Marion is 31st, and 54th is Hellriegel. Those are the top 3 ladies. The civilian Lawrence in second place, and Rose is only managed 3rd after the swim. Well, it's hotting up out there on the road. It's very close to 30 degrees centigrade. You heard the competitors prior to the event telling us that it's fast, which means it's flat, but the problem is that there are quite a lot of cobbles and holes in the roads as well. Serge Lecruc, the Frenchman, in view now, came 3rd 2 years ago in the first triathlon that took place in Germany, and it is the German Normann Stadler who's giving everyone a bit of a run for their money. Chris Marion is the civilian Belgian, looking strong. And here we see Gail Lawrence. She's leading the ladies at the moment. She is a civilian, and she's being chased hard by our military champion, Lydie Rose. And there you can see a clear picture of what the competition looks like. The French, very well organised here, a lot of teamwork, training and support going on, and they need to be if they're going to beat the likes of Birgit Scheidhauer from the strong German contingent in 3rd place at this stage. Behind her is the youngest lady competitor in this second season triathlon, Ines Eschstedt from Germany. But already she is a long, long way behind the front 3 lady runners. A good idea here of the position they adopt for aerodynamics, of course, using those drop handlebars invented by the Scott boys in the States. Cadence is very important in the cycling event. Eggert chasing Marion there. This is third place Stadler. He's actually looking very strong now. He's starting to power his way up towards the front two guys, and you can see he's got a look of determination on him. So into the Parc Fermé, Chris Marion, the civilian Belgian champion, leads in Ralf Eggert, who is still confident as long as he can keep Marion in sight on the running side of things. And in the back there you see the two Germans, Eggert there first, and then behind him Stadler. Here comes Stadler, on with the hat to keep that sun off. Eggert looking a little bit weary. He hasn't got that sort of spring in his stride. However, behind him, looking as fresh as a lamb, is Stadler round the corner. Now, I was telling you about French teamwork. Here comes Serge Leclerc with a whole bevy of red, white and blue. And it really does help in an event like a marathon or a triathlon to have this team support and help you keep your pace. And the French have been doing that brilliantly. So the spectators lining the route now, and on a day like this, what better way of spending the day, looking at other people doing the work. They're waiting for the First Lady to come in, and here she comes. Gail Lawrence, leading by about 7 seconds from our current champion, Lydie Reus, the military champion. And I think Lydie would have liked to have been a little bit closer at this stage. And then in third place, Birgit Scheidhauer, a little bit further behind again. The women more spread out than the guys, that's for sure. So the standings after the cycling: Marianne from Eggert, from Stadler, from Hunches, Leclerc and Marceau, down to 7th place. 15th, we've got Garg, and Hellriegel is 18th. The women, well, you just saw Lawrence out front, Reus second. But further down, we have a look at Ested and Wellens. They're going to be battling for one of those podium places. Well, there's a heat haze coming off the pavement as we move into the third and final phase, 10 kilometres out on the road. Chris Marion, probably not one of the lightest runners. It's not his main event. He's a heavy man, and he's finding that heat a bit of a struggle for him. And he's being chased by the pair of Germans. Ralf Eggert, not looking as fluid as we're used to seeing him. So often in these events, they think they're well prepared, they get out onto the road and they find that one of the disciplines that they just haven't got those reserves that they would normally have at their command. Stadler is running fairly comfortably behind Eggert. And there you can actually see Marion losing ground almost visibly. And Stadler starting to catch his teammate as well. So Germany in a strong position no matter what the result. The running discipline still has to be well thought out. You can't just go for a dash for the line. And you can see Stadler, he's got his pace in his mind. He knows what he's going to do. And as Eggert overhauls Marion, Eggert looks tired, but Marion looks a beaten man. Now, can Eggert hang on in there? And the important aspect on a hot day like today is keep that liquid level up in the body. And the feeding stations set up around the run are a must for everyone. But there's been a lot happening out there. This is Lydie Reus. She has not only overhauled everybody else out on the road as far as the ladies are concerned, she's decided to get a sole partner, one of the male competitors, who is running at about her pace. She says, right, I'm going to run alongside this guy and use him as my pacemaker. And it seems to have worked for Lydie Rosé. She can concentrate and relax and settle into her stride, knowing that she's moving away from her female competitors. So, as we said earlier on, and as we anticipated, the race really is going to be for second and third place as far as the girls are concerned. Gail Lawrence would very much like to have that second place on the podium, and she's looking as if she's fairly well focused now, changing her stride as she takes a drink, looks at her watch, and she knows what she's got to do. And then the German girl, it is tough out there in this in these conditions. Now here's the turn up for the guys. Stadler, on the right of your screen, running alongside Eggert, is talking to him and trying to gee him up and pace him along a bit as well. He's certainly been flagging, and this is true teamwork. And if he can just motivate Eggert even to hang on for the next few kilometres, it's good for the team and good for Germany. But I have to say that Stadler looks as if he's a lot more running in him. And at this stage, Stadler on this awful hill. What a hill to encounter in the final stages of the run. But he's got that power. He's got the hidden reserves. He's moved ahead of the field. And we see him heading towards that bouquet, heading towards the finish line, and heading towards the championship title for 1994. In second place, overhauling Eggert one more time, was Marion, the Belgian champion. And Eggert, who found it just too hard on the day, will have to settle for third place. Hellriegel really made up fantastic ground. You remember how far down he was after the swim. So his cycling and running, strong events. And he'll have to do something about his swimming in the future. Well, this is Stadler telling us that he was 16th after the swimming. And then he pulled back to third after the cycling. And he thought his legs were a bit tired when he went into the running event, but the actual overall pace of the race was slower than he'd anticipated, so he was able to make a strong finish and win. We're taking a look at the military podium here, and it's impressive. 3 Germans on there, Stadler, Eggert and Hellriegel. But of course, we mustn't forget in the open, or the overall classification, we did have one top European civilian in there. And that was, of course, Marion. As far as the ladies are concerned, no surprises. Lydie Rosé successfully defends her 1992 championship title and brings home the 1994 title for France. Gail Lawrence, she hung on in there. She focused herself when she was running. She managed second. And the German girl, Birgit Scheidhauer, managed third position. But for some of the others, the going was just too tough. 2 years ago, Rosé was surrounded by 2 Belgian athletes. Now they're a German on either flank. But congratulations to Lydie Rosé. Let's have a look at the men's final results. We show the civilian result in there, but this is a military contest. Stadler wins from Eggert, Hellriegel 3rd, Marceau 4th, Garg 5th, Galea 6th, and another civilian in there, of course, and Leclerc in 7th. Team results, Germany from France and Belgium. And we move on to the women's results with Lydie Rosé up in front from Scheidhauer and Ested, as we saw. Further down the field, Willems from Alikina and Parfentsova had a good run for Russia, and De Couture for Belgium in 7th place. The ladies' final team results see Germany in the lead from France and Russia. What an event for Germany. Well, we'll see whether Germany can equal that sort of result when all of the nations gather in Rome in September for the first Military World Games. Make sure you don't miss it.
Merci de votre attention. À bientôt. Au revoir.